What you can't change will change you, and what you can't destroy will destroy you. Make up your mind to deal with that issue. Confront it and live life totally unhindered by the past.
Hi, this is Judy Achero, and you are watching Deep Talk. Deep Talk is a program that deals with real-life issues, helping you confront them and live life totally unhindered by the past. I'm so excited about today's program because I know it's going to help many marriages. So I'm going to ask you, sit down, relax, and let's do this together. Pornography is a silent marriage killer. Anytime outside sexual influence works its way into a marriage, that marriage is diseased. And that's what pornography does to a marriage. And so today we're going to talk about how pornography is killing marriages. We're going to talk about how can you know that your partner or your spouse is watching a porn, especially if they have not come clean with it. And also we're going to talk about what do you do when you realize that they are watching porn. In the studio today is a friend of mine, Chuks Ugoye. Thank you so much for coming to do this program with me today.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. Hello, everyone.
Wow. Now, I'm going to give you a profile. Pastor Chuks is a husband, happily married to one wife, Toyin, a friend of mine for 18 years. And he's a father, a pastor, an author of a book called The Amazing Power of a Woman. God uses him strongly in the area of relationships too. He's the host of Dream Achievers Conference. Together with his wife, they host the popular quarterly outreach single ladies boot camp. All of you that are in South Africa should look out for this. The host of a television broadcast, Living the Life, the host of Power of a Woman Academy. This is a powerful academy he has for women. He hosts also the annual Power of Women Conference that draws thousands of delegates all over South Africa, and I've been privileged to be part of it, and which hosts, I think it's every
August. Every August.
Yes, and so if you're out there, please look out for this. Thank you so much for coming to the studio, and together I know we will unpack this subject, and it's going to be a help to somebody.
I'm ready.
Amen.
Let's go for it.
Now, before we talk about how pornography is destroying marriages, I want you to help people understand, because pornography has become epidemic, and a lot of people do not understand the effects that it has on those watching and those who are addicted to it. And so I want you to explain to us what's happening. What is pornography doing?
Porn has become an epidemic, like you said. See, what has made it even, horrible is accessibility because of technology. Before, to use porn, you had to go to an adult shop, go and sneak in there and buy a VHS and sneak it out. Now, it's just on your cell phone. Anytime.
And there's Wi-Fi.
And yes, Wi-Fi.
Even in the malls.
Everywhere. So porn has become so available. What's even very annoying about it is that people are beginning to take porn to be normal. So you're in a WhatsApp group, and people are posting porn clips in a group, WhatsApp group. Yes. It's become so normal that if no one sees anything wrong with it, that someone puts a 2-minute porn clip into a public WhatsApp group.
Yes.
And so that's how epidemic it has become. And people do not know the dangerous thing that is happening to them by consuming porn. Yes. Porn is horrible. Porn is bad. And we're here today, we're going to talk about it and just unpack some of the effects that porn has on people and the things that it's doing in marriages most especially.
Yes. I was reading Charisma News the other day, and I came across an article that was talking about that 43% of Americans believe that pornography is morally acceptable. And that was heartbreaking. And it brought an awakening call. It should bring an awakening call for all of us who understand the truth to stand up and raise our voices boldly and let the world know that pornography is morally unacceptable, and it is very harmful, both to those who watch it and even to the porn stars, the one who act, because pornography is acted. And one of the things that you need to understand is that porn promotes child trafficking. Some of those girls who are there are there out of child trafficking. And some of those, most of those girls, they are made to do sexual acts that they never even agreed to. In one day, you will find that they sleep with around 5 different men for long sessions, sexual sessions. And so they have to be given drugs and they have to be given alcohol to numb both the physical and the emotional pain that goes with it. An average porn star will have about 5 abortions in 2 years. And it's been reported that pornography is recording the highest rate of suicides, HIV, AIDS, and many of them dying out of cervical cancer and other sexually transmitted diseases. And so it is not morally acceptable, and we have to let the world know that.
Let me tell you what's going on. You see, you know, when you are sitting beside a rubbish heap, initially you smell it. When you sit there for 30 minutes, 1 hour, you don't smell it anymore. It becomes normal. It becomes normal. So it's only someone who comes from outside that comes and says, this place is stinking. You've gotten used to it. You've gotten numb to it, that you don't even smell it anymore. That's exactly what's happening with porn. Porn has become so pervasive, so available, that people have become numb. And they don't see anything wrong with it. In fact, they start accepting that there's nothing so bad about it anymore. But this thing is dangerous. It's addictive, it's harmful, psychologically. I'm not even talking about, you know, let's even live spiritually. It's been proven by social scientists. This thing is harmful. And we're going to talk about it just now.
And it brings an addiction just like any other drug. Like
yes, it's an addiction. And people can't help themselves anymore. And they need to get their fix. Otherwise, they're going to be miserable.
But there is hope.
There's hope.
And somebody can get unhooked from it.
That's right.
There's a deception among couples. There's a deception among couples that pornography can be used to spice up things in the bedroom, their sex life. But the fact of the matter is, it's a fantasy that brings a different concept of marriage. It destroys the what sex is
in marriage.
Yes, in marriage.
You see, people who think, yeah, if we bring in a bit of porn, we can spice up things in the bedroom. It's not true.
Yes.
Because what ends up happening is that it's almost, you know, like saying if we take a bit of drugs, we can spice up things in the bedroom. Maybe momentarily you can have a high, but there's a long-term dangerous effect as to what you have gotten yourselves involved in. And that's the problem. Pornography has both short-term and long-term dangerously bad effects on marriages. And we cannot allow ourselves to go there.
Yes. I said before that anytime outside sexual influence comes into a marriage, that marriage is diseased. And so a lot of marriages are diseased. And some people don't even know what is it you're dealing with in your marriage. There's a situation, there's an issue, and you don't even know what you're dealing with. And this program could be actually the answer to your question. It could be a solution to your problem. And so we are going to discuss right now, what are the effects? What is pornography doing in your marriage? Pastor Chooks, talk to us about it.
All right. Well, one of the things that I want to highlight that pornography does, pornography rewires the male brain. I read a book some time ago, just trying to understand the male brain, how the brain of the male works. And it's amazing how God had, you know, designed the brain to function. See, every time you indulge in something that you enjoy, a neural pathway is created.
Yes.
Now, when you go on that experience again, the pathway gets deeper. Now, that's what pornography does. It carves a neural pathway in your brain, and every time you go, it gets deeper. Now, what happens is you need to go deeper into the porn to have the same satisfaction you had before. So it leaves your brain wanting more. And so, after, you know, someone starts with soft porn, After a while, soft porn is not good enough. They have to go hardcore.
It's progressive.
Yeah, so it becomes, they need more bizarre porn to get the same level of fix they got before. So porn rewires your brain, and it becomes difficult to get it back. Thank God for the blood of Jesus, and thank God for the power of prayer and so on. But it's a damage that it requires some very strong spiritual intervention to reverse them.
Yes.
Yeah? All right? And pornography has a way of belittling and demeaning sex. Sex now becomes very superficial and becomes meaningless. A lot of people who are hooked on porn will rather do porn than really have intimacy with their spouses, because porn seems to promise something that it doesn't give. So there is a diminish in passion in the marriage. In fact, that's one of the ways you know that your spouse is, hooked up on porn, because they start losing interest. They start, being more interested in fantasy than the real thing, Porn objectifies women. When someone keeps watching porn, a woman becomes nothing but an object.
Sex object. Yes.
That's what, So subconsciously, this man starts seeing a woman as an object.
Yes.
And a lot of porn is violent.
Yes.
So this guy gets it stamped into his subconscious mind. A woman is an object that has to be treated violently.
Yes.
And that's the subconscious impression that he receives. So even when he comes to his own matrimonial bedroom, he wants to treat his wife roughly because of the things he's been watching in porn. And so he's demeaning, it's violent, objectifies women. It has a way of also creating a fake reality. So people would rather live in that world on the screen than face the real world of engaging in intimacy with your spouse.
It's actually one of the main issues that porn is bringing to marriages is that it kills intimacy.
It does.
Because
it does.
Somebody would prefer, because pornography is about you. It's about self.
That's right.
It's not about the partner.
No, it's not. It's not about sharing.
Yes, and sex was meant to bring connection between a husband and wife. And so this person goes and watches these videos, and they satisfy themselves by themselves. It's a masturbation kind of thing.
That's right.
And so it's self-serving.
It is very self-serving.
And so there's no intimacy. And so this person will prefer because when it comes to the marriage, there's going to be foreplay, and it's going to require some
sacrifice,
yes, engaging,
some sharing,
exactly,
some tenderness, some understanding, some consideration for another. Pornography doesn't have any of those.
And they're like, this, I would rather just go to the bathroom with my phone and do one or two and get myself satisfied instead of coming and having that kind of thing, because it's quick. This one is work. This one is quick. And so it's destroying intimacy in marriage. It kills what sex was supposed to be for marriage.
I have dealt with, scenarios in counseling where a woman says, I am so tired of what's happening in my marriage.
Yes.
My husband doesn't want to have sex with me anymore because he's hooked up on porn.
Yes.
He's hooked up on porn, so he doesn't want.
Yes.
He's now going 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and he doesn't want sex.
He can have it anywhere, anytime.
Because porn.
Because of porn.
So porn is literally breaking that home apart.
Yes. And the other thing that is so dangerous is that porn is promoting infidelity.
Yes.
Porn promotes infidelity. Yes. And this is the thing. Your brain, whenever you begin to watch those videos, especially, let's say, for the man, I'll give an example. It's anybody can be hooked up on porn. It could be the wife or the husband. But I'm going to give an example with the man. If the man is hooked up on pornography, this is what happens. Your brain records that you can have sexual satisfaction with different women because it's different videos with different women. And so that sanctity of knowing that you get sexual satisfaction satisfaction from one person, your spouse, dies. It's already destroyed. And so it makes it so easy for you to go out there and also do it now physically with other people, because that entity has been destroyed. You can do it, you can get that with anybody. And so it's promoting infidelity in homes. It breaks that thing of you knowing that I can only get sexual satisfaction from one person.
And see, another thing that porn does to women, and you know, a lot of people forget that this is acting.
Yes.
It's
Pure
acting.
acting.
It's acting.
They are paid to do it.
Yes. So the woman is in the porn movie or the porn video is acting up all of these motions, and then the woman who is watching it begins to feel like, I need to be like that. I need to do like that.
Yes.
And what you don't understand is that they are acting it. So the woman who is watching starts comparing herself to the porn star. Or sometimes you develop a poor body image.
Or low self-esteem,
Yes.
because you think you can't match up to
Yes.
that.
Or poor body image. So you see this porn star with such heavy boobs, and you're not blessed with such size of boobs. So you start comparing yourself, but what you don't know is that that's an actor.
Yes.
It's an actor. So poor body image is developed, poor self-esteem is developed by watching those things, and then now it's time to have sex with your spouse. All of those things start jumping into the bed with you guys. All the things you are watching, all the porn stars, they all start popping up, and there. So it's destroying marriages.
Yes.
And it's an evil that needs to be addressed, and people need to be helped, and people need to be set free.
Yes, you know, there's another thing that porn does. It's raising a high level of divorce. The divorce lawyers have begun to raise the red flag on pornography as one of the highest causes of divorce. In fact, they say that 60% of the cases of divorce involve one partner addicted to pornography.
Wow.
That's what they're saying. And so they're raising the red flag because it's causing divorce. So you don't want your marriage going to that level, because what it does is that it silently kills your marriage, Before you know it, it's too late, and your marriage is
gone.
The other thing that pornography does is that it breaks trust.
Correct.
And this is the thing. People who watch porn, they do it in secrecy. It has to be done when nobody is watching. And so when a spouse discovers that their partner has been watching pornography, they begin to ask themselves, what else don't I know that this guy or this woman is doing?
Yes.
Yeah, and so it begins now to bring trust issues. And then you realize also the people who watch porn, their gadgets are always with them. They're very protective of their gadgets. You never catch their phone, you never catch their iPads. And so the spouse is like, what could this guy be hiding?
Yes.
So
trust is broken,
Yes.
and trust is a primary currency of marriage.
Yes.
The moment trust is fractured, the marriage is on its way down. And so the question you ask yourself, is it worth it?
is it what?
Is it worth it spending all of this time watching porn and then destroying the marriage that you've built for the last 15 years, 10 years or 20 years or whatever? Is it worth it?
Yes.
And this is the thing. Many people don't understand. You think that you're just viewing, it's just entertainment, or your body just click into those sites. But anytime if you're married and you are clicking into those sites to watch any of that, remember, you are killing your marriage slowly by slowly. And a time comes when you have to make the right decision. Walk away from that habit, because before you know it, it will become an addiction, and it's going to break your marriage, and it's not worth it. It's not worth breaking your marriage.
Yeah, it's not.
People say that what you don't know cannot destroy you. But I choose to disagree with that statement, because what you don't know has the capacity to destroy you. And this is the thing. Just because you don't know that your spouse is watching porn does not mean that it does not have an effect on your marriage. And so I'm going to just give a few briefs on how you can tell that your spouse is watching porn. Now, this is not to bring undue suspicion over your spouse, but because some of this could be out of other reasons that could be causing this issue. So I just want you to just listen to them. I'm going to read them out, listen to them, and see could there be any of those signs that are happening in your marriage that could indicate that your spouse is watching pornography. Now, it's not easy for you to know, because most of the time when someone is watching porn, their internet browser history is erased. So there's nothing to check if whatever they were on the internet on. And also they are very protective of their phones. So it's also difficult. But there are a few things that you can check out that might help you see. Number one is that your spouse is emotionally distanced, detached, and disconnected. Remember we said that one of the things that pornography does to marriages is that it kills intimacy. And so you will see this with your spouse being detached, distant, and disconnected. The other thing is that you find that your spouse has lost interest in sex. They are also unable to maintain an erection during sex. That could also be another sign. But these signs does not mean that this is the only reason. It could be other reasons, but this could also be the reason. Like I said, that their internet browser is empty. Your spouse seems to be more antisocial. They become antisocial. Your spouse has become secretive. That's another way. And also, some spouses will come with a bunch of sexual ideas that they want you to do while having sex, that whenever you're wondering, where is this coming from? What is this about? And this person has all these ideas that they have. It's just suddenly coming into your bedroom. And so these are some of the things that can make you tell, could there be a problem that we are dealing with here? And again, this could be because of other reasons. So don't just think that this is just the reason. So check out, could it be that there are other reasons that are bringing this, but could it also be that your spouse is watching pornography? They have lost interest with you. They are so secretive. They are disconnected, and all these other reasons. Now, what do you do when you discover that your spouse is watching pornography?
All right. Just to add to the conversation, you've mentioned a number of telltale signs. You know, one of them could also be when you start noticing some strange financial transactions. You notice maybe on the credit card statement that some monies are going to, very funny places. You can begin to suspect, and why are these payments always going at 1 a.m.? At 2 a.m. It means that he's paying on some sites. When a man now spends more time on the screen than usual, and then every time you come, he quickly turns it off. He quickly does something. You can't catch him. He's doing something there. Or when he's watching the screen, he turns the screen in a way that you can't just see it. Those are some of the things that are, telltale signs there. When this guy is always irritated, mood swings, when he becomes withdrawn, and, he's now spending more time by himself rather than with you or with the children, is always, on the computer. Those are some signs that something is happening there. Wow. And so when you find your spouse, like you've rightly said, with any of these telltale signs, do you jump into a conclusion that they are on porn? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. And it can generate a lot of tension in the marriage where you are accusing somebody of something that they didn't do. I remember a case where somebody found, a woman went on the computer and found certain pornographic sites opened or in the history. And she quickly concluded that her husband is watching porn. And when she attacked the man, and the man was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And when they investigated it, they found out that it was their son's teenage friend who had come for a sleepover, was using the family computer. And that's the person who was going there. So you don't have to jump into a conclusion because you saw something. Because it can be very distressing for someone who is innocent to be accused
And you're
of something.
them with so much certainty.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly.
I
Like
know.
So people, it can create serious problem in the marriage. It's like suspecting that someone is cheating when they are not.
Yes.
It can really break marriage.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we must point out here is that you have to be sure of what you're talking about.
Yes.
You have to, have reasonable evidence. And there's nothing wrong with if you're picking up a concern to ask them.
Actually, the best way to know if somebody is watching porn is to ask them.
Is to ask them.
Have open communication, ask
Yes,
them,
ask
find
them.
out, could it be that this is happening? And tell them, I found this in your computer. Don't go accusing, go asking. I found this in your computer. Could it be that you are watching porn? And they will be able to open up and tell you.
That's if they are willing to be honest.
Yes, that's a thing. And also it depends with how you ask.
Yeah, exactly.
If you go with an accusing tone, then now they will say no. But if you go with a tone to help, then it's gonna be a bit easy. Because the thing that it's important to understand is that look at pornography addiction as a sickness and not a weakness. If you come to a point where you find out that your spouse is watching porn, look at it as a sickness, not a weakness. And that way you will be able to embrace it and be able to help you. Yes, you will be hurt. Yes, you will be offended. But this is the thing. It's important sometimes to look at the big picture and not just that one single situation, because you can save a marriage out of this. You can save a marriage, or you can destroy a marriage with this discovery. And so choose to push aside your pain and your concern and look at the big picture, which is a marriage, that we need to save the marriage. And so and there are also other things that you need to think about when you discover that the person is watching.
Let me chip in something there.
Yes.
You said something very powerful. See it as a sickness
Yes.
rather than a weakness.
Yes.
Because if you see it as a sickness, then it's a situation that can be cured.
Exactly.
It's a situation that we all have to jump in and find a solution.
Yes.
I remember I was preaching in a foreign country, and this man of God came to see me. And he requested to see me privately. So he came with his wife. So I was sitting with them at the hotel lobby where I was staying, and he came with a revelation. He is addicted to pornography, and he's been addicted for the last 25 years.
Jesus.
It was really bad. And this is a very big man of God, like a very big man of God. In fact, he said that the reason why he wanted to speak to me is because I'm foreign. I came from another country, not a local, because he couldn't confide in any of the pastors locally.
Yes.
He would rather
He
confide.
came with his wife?
Yeah, he came with his wife. So his wife was there. So I asked her, do you know about this struggle? She said she knows. She started crying. He said for the last 25 years that they've been married. They've been married for 25 years. They have had this struggle.
And that tells you that anybody can be addicted. And this is not to paint a bad picture to the pastors or the men of God, but that tells you that anybody can be addicted to pornography, but there is always a solution. Are you willing to help your spouse if you discover that they are watching pornography?
Yeah, what blessed me about that woman of God was her support. Her support for her husband,
Yes.
to get out of this thing, So as I tried to talk to them, and he said to me that the reason why he's actually opening up is because he wants to be held accountable.
Wow.
He wants to be held accountable so that his wife can have somebody to call if he goes back to it.
Yes.
And that's why they came to me, so that they can be held accountable that he will not go back to it. That if he goes back to it, there's someone to phone to say he's gone back to it. So it's important that if you find your spouse, getting hooked with porn, that you don't become judgmental or become totally critical and angry, but that you can lend a helping hand to say, this is a sickness, and it's our sickness. It's not just your sickness, it's our sickness. and we are going to deal with it together. And then and that way people can find help.
Yes.
Because there is help out
There
of this
is help,
situation.
there is help.
There is help out of this situation.
Yes.
We know it's bad, and we know it brings shame. We know it brings, all this heartache that we talked about, but there is help. And if the husband and the wife can come together as a team to go against this force of evil that has penetrated into their bedroom, the Lord will help them get rid of it.
Yes.
But there is help.
There are 2 steps to getting out of pornography, because it's not a hopeless situation. It can bring addiction. It can bring all those things that we're talking about, but it's not a hopeless situation. And so there are 2 steps that are very important for you to take to be able to break out of this addiction. Number 1 is that you need to deal with the addiction. You need to break out of the addiction. And I spoke about it in the other program that I did about a month ago. And if you want to know how to break out of it, please watch that program. It's on YouTube, and it's also on my Facebook public page, Judy Achero. So like the page and watch it. It's there, and you're gonna see how you can break out of pornography addiction. We spoke about it with my guest exclusively, so it's gonna be very important for you to watch it. The second step is that you need to discover what is the root cause of this addiction, because it's important to understand addiction. Any addiction, or most addictions, have a root cause. They are just a symptom of a problem. And so if you want to deal with the problem, you must go to the root of it and deal with it. Any addiction has a root cause. And so dig deep into the issue and find out what could be that caused this addiction, and deal with the root cause of the problem, and you will be free from pornography. And it is possible. A lot of people have done it, but if you've discovered your spouse is into it, please help them. Walk through the journey with them. Let there be accountability, and allow yourself also, if you are in pornography, to come clean and let your spouse know that I'm dealing with this issue and I need help, and they will be able to help you and walk with you throughout the journey.
Pastor Judy, do you offer help to people who may want to phone you to say we need help?
Yes.
Are you offering that help?
Yes. You can contact me on my email. It's judy@deeptalk.co.za, and I'm going to be able to help you as much as I can. Thank you so much, Pastor Chooks, for being in the program with me today. Thank you for your wisdom. I know it's going to help so many people, and I know we will have you back again. And the next time we do this, we'll talk about how pornography is destroying our children, what to do to stop it.
Oh, that one is
because
heavy.
it's important.
It is important.
Yes.
Anyway, thank you for having me today. For whosoever it is that you are, if what we have said has touched you and you want help and you feel trapped, please contact Pastor Judy, and let's give you the help that you need. You need help, and you can get help. Yes. You don't have to die with the problem.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much for viewing Deep Talk, and we will see you next time. Please go to my Facebook public page and like it, Judy Achero. Go to my YouTube and subscribe for the next episodes, because very soon we'll have another episode with different exciting topics that are helpful to each and every one of us. God bless you.